Hi, I'm Mallory Donahue from SewHere.com, and today we're going to talk about my little friend, the pattern notcher. The pattern notcher is a little punch, like a die cutter, that you can use to make notches in your clothing pattern pieces, or your quilting pattern pieces, or your home deck pattern pieces. And what it does is it makes a little 1/4 inch notch into your fabric, or you can use it on paper pattern pieces. In order to save time, lots of industry professionals don't use pins when they sew. Instead, they mark their pattern pieces with notches and match them up as they go along to save time. When you are cutting out a garment, you may have been taught to cut along either with scissors or a rotary cutter and then cut a triangle outwards from the pattern. Well, that can also be a time waster when you're trying to sew really efficiently. So a lot of times experts or people who are very familiar with garment sewing, they'll use their scissors or a rotary cutter to just nip in a little bit, make a little slit into the fabric in order to make a landmark for themselves. Well, for some of us, that can be a little scary. You're afraid that you're going to cut in too far or not cut in far enough and lose your notch and then not put your garment or whatever you're sewing together correctly. And that's where the pattern notcher comes in. It notches in exactly 1/4 inch. A lot of people say that this should only be used on paper, but I've tried it on a lot of different fabrics and it works just fine. So if you're going to use it on a paper pattern piece, you can actually mark in your notches with the pattern notcher, and then on your fabric you can use a marking pen, or you can snip in with scissors or your rotary cutter, whatever works for you. On fabric like denim or felt, the pattern notcher works really well. The fabric is stable enough that it supports the die cutter, the little punch, and it makes a very clear notch 1/4 inch in. If you're using something a lot lighter weight or a very slippery, unstable knit, your pattern notcher might not work as well, and that's where you can use the pattern notcher on your pattern piece and then mark in a little bit with a marking pen, or use it as a barrier when you're using scissors or a rotary cutter to take a little nip in on your pattern piece. Like I said, the pattern notcher notches in 1/4 inch, so that takes care of your garment sewing seam allowances. You're not nipping in too far to where you're going to compromise the integrity of your garment when you are sewing the garment together. But the notcher takes out not just a little slit, it sort of takes out a little rectangle of fabric so that you can actually see it and you won't miss it while you're sewing. So if you're interested in the pattern notcher, check it out on our website, and the link is below in the video description.